You want him on? I'm sorry? Okay, that's fine. All right. Mr. Clerk is coming. We'll get a minute. The town clerk is on his way in. No, just wanted to know where it is. Good evening, everyone. Thank you for being in person and those viewing the meeting of the Hartford Public Access Television Station. I'm now calling to order the regular scheduled meeting for February the 26th to order. Mr. Clerk, please call the roll.
Councilwoman Bilodeau.
Here.
Councilman Clark.
Here.
Councilman Gale.
Here.
Councilman Hernandez.
Here.
Councilman Mictum.
Here.
Councilwoman Rosado.
Present.
Councilwoman Rossetti.
Here.
Councilwoman Surgeon.
Here.
Councilman Thomas.
Here.
You have a quorum, Madam President.
Thank you, Mr. Clerk. Can we all stand for the Pledge of Allegiance? Thank you, everyone. Madam Majority Leader, you have the floor, ma'am.
Thank you, Council President. I make a motion to approve the minutes of February 13th, 2024.
Second.
Great. A motion has been made to approve the minutes for the February 13th, 2024 council meeting and properly second. Do you have any discussion? Seeing and hearing none, Mr. Clerk, please call the roll.
Councilwoman Bilodeau.
Yes.
Councilman Clark.
Yes.
Councilman Gale.
Yes.
Councilman Hernandez.
Yes.
Councilman Mictum.
Yes.
Councilwoman Rosado.
Yes.
Councilwoman Rossetti.
Yes.
Councilwoman Surgeon.
Yes.
Councilman Thomas.
Yes.
Motion passed.
Thank you, Mr. Clerk. Madam Majority Leader, you have the floor.
Thank you, Council President. I make a motion to place the following items on consent. 3.2, Mayor Arulapalam with accompanying resolution to transfer funds to the Registrar of Voters Office for the election in 2024, April 2024. 4.1, Operations Management Budget and Government Accountability Committee with accompanying resolution authorizing the City of Hartford to enter into a 15-year tax abatement agreement with MLK Apartments LLC, the owner, for rental housing units to be developed at 99 Van Block Avenue, Hartford, 06106. 6.8, Councilwoman Rosado, Councilman Hernandez, Council President Surgeon, Councilman Gale, Councilman Clark, Councilman Mixtum, resolution for Spanish translation for the City of Hartford. 6.9, Councilwoman Rosado, Councilman Hernandez, resolution requesting for Spanish language licensing examinations for hairdressers, anestheticians, and nail technicians.
Second.
Thank you. A motion to place the following item on consent, item 3.2, 4.1, 6.8, 6.9, has been made and properly second. Is there any discussion?
Yes.
Okay.
Just wondering, my understanding is that 4.1 came out of committee with an amendment. I wasn't able to just check the agenda. I see Councilman Hernandez shaking his head yes, so the amendment is in what we're adopting?
Yes, the amendment was added to the language.
Thank you.
Thank you, Councilman Gale. Mr. Clerk?
Councilwoman Bilodeau.
Yes, and please add my name to 6.8.
Mr. Clerk?
Council President, through you, my name electronically is on 6.8, but I don't see it here, paper version.
Okay.
Thank you.
Madam President, through you.
Yes?
I just got notification that the public has issues with viewing our council meeting.
They have issues viewing the council
Yeah,
meeting?
it's not streaming.
It's not streaming?
Yes.
So can we all take a quick second and let's talk to our Hartford Public Access Television station to make sure everything is okay before we continue, or we may have to start over again? Is that what we're saying? Let's talk to our Hartford Public Access Television station personnel. It's on Facebook Live? We're seeing ourselves there.
I'm just sharing what I've been told. Okay.
So we're seeing
can
ourselves streaming. We are on Facebook Live. I'm not sure.
It's good? Okay.
Okay, we're good? All right, great. So back to you, Mr. Clerk.
Okay. Councilwoman Bilodeau.
Yes.
Councilman Clark.
Yes.
Councilman Gale. Yes. Councilman Hernandez.
Yes.
Councilman Mixtum.
Yes.
Councilwoman Rosado.
Yes.
Councilwoman Rossetti.
Yes.
Councilwoman Surgeon.
Yes.
Councilman Thomas.
Yes.
Motion passed.
Thank you, Mr. Clerk. Madam Majority Leader.
Thank you, Council President. I make a motion to receive the following items. 3.3, Operations Management Budget and Government Accountability Communication concerning an ordinance amendment of Section 32-18 of the Municipal Code. 3.4, Operations Management Budget and Government Accountability Committee communication concerning ordinance establishing the procedure necessary for flag raisings at City Hall. Those are the two received items.
Great,
Second.
great. Thank you. Motion has been made to receive the following items, 3.3 and 3.4. Has been made and properly second. Any discussion? Seeing or hearing any discussion, Mr. Clerk, please call the roll.
Councilwoman Bilodeau.
Yes.
Councilman Clark.
Yes.
Councilman Gale.
Yes.
Councilman Hernandez.
Yes.
Councilman Mixtum.
Yes.
Councilwoman Rosado.
Yes.
Councilwoman Rossetti.
Yes.
Councilwoman Surgeon.
Yes.
Councilman Thomas.
Yes.
Motion passed.
Thank you, Mr. Clerk. Madam Majority Leader.
Thank you, Council President. Thank you, Council President. Through you, I make a motion to refer the following items. 3.1, Mayor Arulaplam with accompanying resolution confirming the appointment of Olusajan Shea Ajawi to the position of Chief Operating Officer to be at a committee of the whole, date to be determined. 6.3, Councilwoman Rosado, Councilman Hernandez, Councilman Gale, resolution to establish neighborhood block watch in the city of Hartford to the Quality of Life and Public Safety Committee. 6.4, Councilwoman Rosado, Councilman Gale, Councilman Hernandez, Councilman Mitchum, resolution calling for more electrical vehicle charging stations in Hartford to Planning, Economic Development, and the Housing Committee. 6.6, Councilwoman Rosado, Councilman Hernandez, resolution to request an update for the Fair Housing Commission to the Planning, Economic Development, and Housing Committee. 6.5, Councilwoman Rosado, Councilman Gale, Councilman Hernandez, resolution for establishment of a dog park in downtown Hartford to the Public Works, Parks, Recreation, and Environment Committee. 6.7, Councilwoman Rosado, Councilman Hernandez, resolution to establish a committee for addressing food deserts in the north end of Hartford to Health and Human Services Committee. And 6.2, Councilwoman Rosado, resolution on promoting awareness of the tax abatement provision for vehicle taxes under Connecticut General Statutes Title 12, Section 12-124 to the Operations Management, Budget, and Government Accountability Committee.
Second.
Motion has been made and properly second. A motion to refer the following items to the following committee. Item 6.2 to the Operation Management, Budget, and General Accountability Committee. Item 6.3 to the Public Safety Committee. Item 6.4 and item 6.6 to the Planning, Economic Development, and Housing Committee. Item 6.5 to the Public Works, Parks, Recreation, and Environmental Committee. Item 6.7 to the Health and Human Service Committee. And item 3.1 to the Council of a Whole Committee. The date to be determined. The item has been properly made and second. Are there any discussion?
Yes, Madam President.
Yes.
Just wanted to, I know this was a oversight, for the record to reflect the 6.7, my name as the lead sponsor.
The 6.7?
Yes.
And you're adding your name as a sponsor?
No, it's already on there. It's just the majority leader just didn't read it for the record.
Oh, okay,
Yes.
and I made a
Okay.
motion. And so for correction, we'll definitely make sure we have the item 6.7 going to the Health and Human Service Committee.
I said 6. I said Health and Human Services. It's not on here. Oh, that's what they gave me.
Yeah, so the item's been made, the motion has been made and properly second. Thank you, Assistant Majority Leader Clark, to make sure that we have all the items correct. Any discussion? Here,
Through you, Madam President, for clarification, so on item 6.7, the maker of the resolution is Assistant Majority Leader Clark?
no, the item is, unfortunately, item 6.7 is going to the Health and Human Service Committee, but it was not read into the list when the majority leader read the list of items referred. No, it was, no?
Council President,
Yeah.
6.7 on the sheet given me, Assistant Majority Leader's name was not one of the
Oh,
sponsors.
it's one of the sponsors.
Yes, so
Okay.
he should be added, but it was read to
But-
go to Health and
okay.
Human Services
All
Committee.
right, so we got that confusion together.
Sorry.
So the names are properly now accredited to the resolution. Mr. Clerk.
And
Further clarification, so to be clear, there is a maker on this resolution, and then there are sponsors. Assistant Majority Leader Clark is the maker of the resolution, which is going to the Health and Human Services. Everyone else mentioned on the resolution is a sponsor. He is the sole maker of this resolution, for the record.
if I may, Madam President, it's reflected in the record in the clerk's office.
Okay,
Yes. As what Councilwoman Rosado mentioned, it's reflected properly, accurately in the clerk's office.
okay,
All
thank
right.
you. As long as it's reflected accurately in the clerk's office and the keeper of record, Then are we okay now to call roll? Great, thank you. Mr. Town Clerk?
Councilwoman Bilodeau,
Yes.
Councilman Clark,
Yes.
Councilman Gale,
Yes.
Councilman Hernandez,
Yes.
Councilman Mictum,
Yes.
Councilwoman Rosado, Councilwoman
Yes.
Rossetti,
Yes.
Councilwoman Surgeon,
Yes.
Councilman Thomas.
Yes.
Motion passed.
Madam Majority Leader, you have the floor.
Thank you, Council President. I make a motion to postpone the following items. 5.1, Mayor Arul Laplam with accompanying ordinance amendment of Section 32-18 of the Municipal Code, see item 3.3. 5.2, Mayor Arul Laplam with accompanying ordinance establishing the procedure necessary for flag raisings at City Hall, see item 3.4. And 5.3, Mayor Arul Laplam with accompanying ordinance establishing the Hartford Department of Sports and Recreation, see item 4.1.
Second.
A motion to postpone the following items, 5.1, 5.2, 5.3, has been made and properly second. Any discussion? Councilman, 5.1, 5.2, and 5.3.
I thought I heard 3.4.
No, she said 3.4 pursuant to 5.2.
Okay,
It's a C item on the agenda.
thank you.
Okay, Councilman Mitchell.
Thank you, Madam President. Just briefly, because during the previous committee, the whole meeting, someone had said that they wanted to speak on the recreation matter, and that is here, but it is getting sent to a public hearing, so we're going to have a whole other circumstance where people can come and talk about. It went already to public hearing. I take it all back.
It's renovated the public
It was-
hearing.
Right, it was backward. We usually,
The
you don't get to
commi-
talk about it anymore. Don't listen to me. I don't know what I'm talking about. Just call us if you have a feeling on it, because it is kind of a big deal. We're shifting recreation from under DCFYR to its own thing. I beg your pardon.
I believe the committee meeting will be the 28th, is that right, Councilman Bilodeau? Wednesday, the 28th.
At 6 p.m.
At 6 p.m.
Virtually.
virtually. If anybody would like to talk on the issue or listen to the committee meeting on the sports, recreation, and sports department. Okay.
Thank you.
That's, and hearing and seeing any more discussion, Mr. Town Clerk, would you call the roll, please?
Councilwoman Bilodeau,
Yes.
Councilman Clark,
Yes.
Councilman Gale,
Yes.
Councilman Hernandez,
Yes.
Councilman Mictum,
Yes.
Councilwoman Rosado, Councilwoman Rosado,
Yes.
Councilwoman Rossetti,
Yes.
Councilwoman Surgeon,
Yes.
Councilman Thomas.
Yes.
Motion passed.
Madam Majority Leader, you have the floor.
Thank you, Council President. I make a motion to take action on 6.1, Councilman Mixtum, resolution calling for immediate de-escalation and permanent ceasefire in Israel and Palestine.
Second.
Item has been made and properly second. Is there any discussion? Councilman Gale.
Yeah, thank you, Madam President. I listened very carefully several weeks ago at public comment when we had a large number of folks turn out to discuss the whole situation that exists in Gaza, and I listened again very carefully tonight to another group of folks who took time out of their day to come down and again express their opinions and their concerns. And it was very clear to me that we have serious divisions right here within Hartford and the Hartford area concerning this issue, but that there is certainly some common ground that everybody shares. I don't think that the common ground is reflective in the resolution that we have before us, nor do I think that we have the ability to craft that common ground on the dais tonight. And so I'm going to make a motion that we do what we so often do with many things, which is to refer them to committee for further consideration by this body. Perhaps we would be able in committee to craft something that would be acceptable to all members of council. So my motion is to send this to the Operations Management, Budget, and Government Accountability Committee.
Second.
Item has been made and properly second. to send this item to committee. Any discussion on that? Seeing and hearing none, Mr. Clerk, please call the roll.
Councilwoman Bilodeau.
No.
Councilman Clark.
No.
Councilman Gale.
Yes.
Councilman Hernandez.
No.
Councilman Micdom.
Yes.
Councilwoman Rosado.
No.
Councilwoman Rossetti.
No.
Councilwoman Surgeon.
No.
Councilman Thomas.
Yes.
Motion failed.
So we're back to the item. Any other discussion on this item? Councilman Mitchum.
Thank you, Madam President, and y'all know I usually speak off the cuff, but it was a lot of people came here tonight, so I tried to write down what I had to say, so I'd be a little clearer, not misspeak, as I did moments ago. First, thank you all for coming out here. It's wild to have this many people here. It's a good problem to have that we can't get to everyone. I have to say, I hope we can carry this energy into the future. So let this be the first of many times, Hartford residents. We have budget cycle coming up. I would love to see this energy here. We have a perennially oversized police budget and an undersized budget for social services. We have tenant protections that need to be continually beefed up. We need you here to make your voices heard. And to our suburban neighbors who came out, I hope that you will bring this energy to your representatives and ask them to fully fund pilot, right? Because this city needs that from you all. And I think that business, the business of being engaged, is what this resolution is about. Political engagement is more than showing up just for what's for us and for what's our people and the threats that we feel to us, right? It's really easy to draw a small circle around what we think of as us, and only act to defend what we have and to protect that small us against others. To decide that the struggles and the hardships that we see outside of that circle don't affect us, that we can retreat from them and live lives in neighborhoods and in schools where those things don't touch us. And I want to urge you to think of a broader us and a broader our people. And that's what this resolution is about. Because narrowing your focus on who you care about and who you extend compassion to, that is not justice work. That's not even the work of politics or civic engagement. Everyone on this dais does things that don't affect them or their family or their people, right? I don't think any of us, no disrespect to y'all, but I think we'd all like to be home this evening, right? But we do this because we care about a broader circle than our own small circle. We engage for our whole city, and sometimes the interests of our city align with larger struggles, right? We did that in the 1980s when we were one of the first cities to publicly oppose apartheid as a city, and that became part of a movement that hopefully contributed to the positive outcome in that struggle. And so I want to explain why I think we should do that again, and why I'm asking my colleagues to do that again. And the reason is because I'm a Jew. Okay? I know anti-Semitism is real. I'm not here to tell you different. All right? My family fled anti-Semitism in Eastern Europe a long time ago in the 19th century, and they found an imperfect refuge in my hometown of Brooklyn. But even 100 years later, when I was a kid in Brooklyn, anti-Semitism was still there, okay? Because not all of us Jews, not only do we not all have a connection to Israel in our family or our history, but we haven't all grown up within a circle of many Jews, all right? A lot of us are Jews, but not among other Jews. And so even now we run into anti-Semitism. And I ran into it when I was a kid, and I fought it. Like I legit fought anti-Semitism when I was a kid, not with petitions and showing up to public comment, but with hands. And I run into it now in Hartford. I don't fight it with hands now because I'm too grown for that. But it's real, okay? Like, I know that anti-Semitism is real. But something that I think I've recognized as core to Jewish values is to recognize when our struggle is not the biggest struggle, okay? When our victimhood is not the most important victimhood, all right? A morality that does not always prioritize us. And I think that, whatever anti-Semitism does to me, whatever risks it poses to me, I have to sometimes step out of that and put that aside and deal with it little by little, but focus on bigger struggles. I think that's what my work on this council is, and that's what my day job is. And I think that's the situation we're in now, recognizing what is the larger struggle and who are the victims who most need our attention. We can recognize the value of Israel as a country. We can recognize that it's important that there should be a place in the world where Jews are safe, no matter what. But I think that value is diminished if the safety of Jews is defended with brutality. All right? Many of you spoke, on both sides, I think, spoke about what happened on October 7th, about the horrors that were visited on innocent people, innocent Israelis. And I'm not going to dispute those facts, right? I'm not here to say that that wasn't every bit as horrible as everyone here has described, and more so. What I'm going to say is that there is actually no atrocity in the world that justifies killing 14,000 children. I refuse to accept a conception of Jewish safety that requires Jews to stoop to the level of their cruelest enemies. All of us, Jew or Gentile, should reject an idea of Jewish safety that shrugs at the preventable deaths of Palestinian children, or any children. And there's nothing anti-Semitic about that. Our safety as Jews does not require blindness to the misdeeds of every Jew everywhere. Many constituents have reached out to me. That's why I brought this resolution. I started, I think, agreeing with a lot of folks that it wasn't our business. But folks reached out to me, constituents, mostly Jews from Hartford, and I think that moved me to bring this resolution. And what they told me again and again is that we are greater as a people when we show the strength of character to engage in hard criticism, to recognize where our own people and our allies have gone wrong, even in the face of things that frighten us, like Hamas. And Hamas has done atrocious, unpardonable things. I'm not here to sell you on Hamas, right? We can believe that, we can understand that, and we can accept that the government of Israel should not kill thousands of children. Both things can be true. Hamas has terrorized innocent people, innocent Israelis, compromised the interests of Palestinians, been a terrible leadership for Palestinians, and it's bad for the government of Israel to kill tens of thousands of non-combatants in response to bad acts that those people, they didn't choose that government who did that. US dollars fund Israel visiting punishment on people who didn't do the thing for which they're being punished. Israel is a tremendously strong country, tremendously well-funded, broad international backing, most of all from this country. It can exist, it can keep its citizens safe, and it can avoid killing the children of its enemies. So when I bring this resolution, what I'm addressing is a brutal, disproportionate response that is killing thousands of people unnecessarily. And our federal government is uniquely positioned to stop it. That's why it matters. The resolution is not really about Jews or Palestinians. It's about a basic conception of human morality that objects to the brutalization of the weak by the strong. This council has come together to object to the brutalization of the weak by the strong many times. We've imposed rules on how our police operate. I think we all agree that no matter what someone did when they get arrested, they should be treated with a certain level of decorum and humanity. We've come together to impose rules on landlords, to say that even if someone hasn't paid their rent, even if someone can't afford housing, there's basic dignity they are entitled to, and we're going to impose some costs on landlords for that reason. This council came together to do the same thing in the 1980s. At that time, Ronald Reagan was saying that the African National Congress was a terrorist organization. He was criticizing their terrorism, and this body came together to say apartheid is what deserves criticism. So that's really all that I'm asking us to do here tonight. We send a message to our congressional delegation, to Senator Murphy, who lives down the street and is on the Senate Subcommittee on the Middle East, to put influence on Israel. Influence they can't put on Hamas, influence they can't put on Iran or any other actor, but they absolutely can put fiscal and diplomatic influence on Israel. Will a ceasefire end all of this strife? No, it will not. Those are bigger questions that have to be solved over time. But it will stop many, many, many deaths. That is a simple moral calculation. I am asking my colleagues to join me in that simple request. Here is a way to stop the deaths of innocents. Let's do that.
Thank you, Councilman Mitchell. And any more discussion? Seeing and hearing no discussion, Mr. Town Clerk, please call the roll, please.
Councilman Bilodeau.
Abstain.
Councilman Clark.
Abstain.
Councilman Gale.
No.
Councilman Hernandez.
Abstain.
Councilman Migdon.
Yes.
Councilman Rosado.
Abstain?
Councilman Rossetti.
Abstain.
Councilman Surgeon.
Abstain?
Councilman Thomas.
Yes.
The motion failed.
Thank you, Mr. Clerk. Before I adjourn this meeting, I wanted us to read a statement on behalf of the Dems. We have sat through two public comments over the last several weeks, and listened to both sides, as you are absolutely correct, Councilman Mitchell, what we heard. And, one of the things we are elected to do is listen, okay? And today, we were faced to vote on this resolution, calling for a ceasefire between Israel and, Palestine. The suffering and the loss, I believe, on both sides of this conflict cannot be overstated. And so when I listened to, over the last 6 hours of testimony for the last several weeks, my heart and our hearts, go out, for all those who are affected. We understand the pain, some of our residents feel on this issue. But after careful consideration, and working with the Democrats, over the last week or so, the reflection and consideration, we as Hartford City Council people, we believe our focus must remain, on Hartford's residents, to their immediate and tangible needs that they have in the city. We are elected to serve our community by tackling issues such as housing, crime, improving the quality of life of the residents that live here. We have direct influence and the responsibilities in those areas. And our effort, we believe, have the most meaningful impact on what our policy can set for the residents in the city. We are a municipal legislative body. We have no authority or the capacity to weigh on complex issues involving U.S. foreign policy, issue of global concern in a way that is reasoned, thoughtful, and consideration of these complex issues. Such matters, we believe, must rest with whom has the essential responsibilities and authority and expertise. As Councilman Mitchell mentioned, our U.S. Senator just lived down the street from here. So as citizens, of course we're concerned about what is happening in the world. But that is very different from this legislative body adopting this resolution. So for all the reasons I've listed above, we Dems have sat here, deliberated several nights. We expressed our feelings, our emotion. But one thing we realize is that this is a legislative body, and we were elected to make sure that we focus our energy on the residents' immediate need in the city. In a matter of several weeks, our budget hearings begins. And we need to focus and how best to provide the services to the residents in the city of Hartford. So thank you all for coming out. Thank you all for participating. We really appreciate the enthusiasm of people coming and visiting City Hall, our beautiful building. I know it was a very painful time, but thank you. I call the meeting to an end. Thank you.